So Steve came over after work today, and he's been driving this thing around with no front fenders on it for as long as I've known him. And the bed's been hacked up, trying to cut away the rust, and that's what was left, right? Not much. So, but he got some new fenders from Rock Auto. So we put the fenders on here and got those all bolted on and lined up, nice with the door, nice with the hood. And now we are going to see if we can do something about these rocker panels. So the rocker panels on Steve's Toyota, just like everybody else's, are soft if you live in Michigan. So it's got a hole here. The bottom of them are getting a little punky. The driver's side's even worse than this side. But we're gonna do what I did to Stomper. So we're gonna take this 1.5 by 3 inch box tubing, and we're gonna cut out the face of the rocker panel so that we leave the pinch weld area along the back there to weld to, as well as having an edge along the top seam here to weld to. And we're gonna try and then tie those into the frame so that he's got some nice solid rock sliders. And we're gonna leave a tail sticking out behind the cab here because his long-term goals are to flatbed the truck. So we'll be able to tie in the main hoop for the rear cage portion of the flatbed into the rock slider, which will be tied to the frame. So yeah, so we're just gonna start tonight by working on the rock slider portion, see if we can get these cut out and the box tubes welded in and get it all seam sealed back together. I don't know if we'll get into tying into the frame yet tonight or not, but we're gonna get as far as we can with what time frame we got to work with today. So anyway, follow along, should be fun. So this is what we've done so far. Pie cut that so that when it's here, it ties in nice and clean to the factory rocker panel roll the fender has, and tapers off and transitions into the rectangular. And so far, put a spot weld about every inch or so, and now we'll have to go back through and fill in between with weld all the way from one end to the other. So it's good and solid, none of them pull out. And then Steve's got new rear cab corner pieces. So once we get the rocker panel kind of situated and tied in good, then we'll fit the cab corner section and get it all tied in nice. That way it can all be finished together. So yeah. Plugging away, fun, fun, fun. All right, so we got the top side all spot welded into place. Now we're gonna move on and get the bottom side all done. So I put Steve to work. He is tapping all of the metal up tight to the bottom of the rock slider so that we can put more tack welds in between our existing tack welds. But yeah, no, we got it all tied in nice and tight up top. We'll get a bunch of welds on the bottom. We got it all spot welded into place. We were using the jack with a board to kind of push it up as we were welding each spot. And yeah, now we'll get it finished welded. Then we'll grind it clean, seam seal it, put some paint on it. All right, so final product for tonight. So we cut and welded a section of the cab corner in because Steve had bought cab corners, so we were able to repair that rust. And we angle cut the back of the slider, got that all seam sealed, sprayed some satin black Rust-Oleum on it. The bottom is tack welded every inch. That's all seam sealed. And that thing is solid. I stood on this corner, 1 foot jumping up and down. The whole truck's rocking and rolling. It is not budging. So yeah, all in all, super happy with the result. We had talked about tying it into the frame. However, after some thought, when you rigid mount the rock slider to the frame, but the cab is still mounted on rubber, and the front core support is still mounted on rubber, you have part of the cab flexing with the chassis and part of it not. And what's happened in Stomper is in the front inner fender area, right about even with the shock, my inner fender well is actually cracked or ripped. And I'm 99% sure it's due to that. You have some chassis flex, and some of it not. So we decided to not do that. And I feel that welding these to the rocker panel of the cab is strong enough for what most guys are gonna do with it. We were able to put the 2x4 under there with a jack the side of the truck up to the point the tires were almost off the ground. And the cab was showing no sign of having any issues, not making any weird noises. So I think this will be just fine for the way it's gonna be used.